line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up.
Cross another one off the list here of tracks we haven't yet to visit yet. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Donington Racing Circuit here. As we are in Donington Park Racing Circuit here, this is going to be one intrusive little race. As this can be a very clever little battle and a very tight road ahead as these drivers have to take on a brand new challenge here on PT Racing TV. Hello everyone, I am the Crusader Chris Driver joining you guys here today as we got a set field of drivers lined up with us today. Let's take a look at our set drivers here in Donington as we got on the pole in the number 60, Philip Ammer on the outside, and the 85 will be Corey Lazarus. Row number 2 and the number 160 will be Daniel Thomas on the outside, and the 34 it is Spencer Marsh. Row number 3 in the 76 is Thorsten Seifer on the outside, and the number 12 it is Adam Schmidt. Row number 4 is Emil Koopmans there in the 911 on the outside, and the 100 is Jordan Strudwick. Row number 5 is Kenny Eckert, and the 496 the outside, and the 210 is Salvatore Garianto. Row number 6 is going to be Neil Killen. I believe that's how you say his first name right this time. I have been messing up on that. Yep, Neil Killen there, and then the outside in the 941 is Bjorn Ritter, or Richo as he's called. And then last but not least, out on the field today will be Mark D. Bruin in the number 52. A lot of names kind of figure in and kind of figure out around here, guys, so I apologize in advance. I got told, though, as well, that the way the names are actually said, it's, when McLeod out there, that's what his name is. And then Neil, of course, not Niall, as I've said it, it's Neil. And then Jason Lyons is Jason, not Leon's, but Lyons down there. So Just a little heads up for you fans at home so I don't confuse them anymore. Green flag drops. Let's get down to the action here in Donington. First sprint race of the day here, and Hammer immediately takes control. Lazarus, though, deep into the corner, and he sent Hammer there across the grassy plains. Whoa, boy. Dorset Cypher trying to strike on that immediately there, moving on the right-handed side there. Already looks like that first turn already sent a few drivers in for quite a little bit of a drop-off there. Probably not exactly what they were expecting down there. Nor would it be what Philip Hammer wanted to see out of the gate. Now he's going to have to try to catch there to Lazarus. Lazarus certainly not giving him any breaks there. Daniel Thomas, number 160 right now, keeping a close eye on his charge, keeping a close eye on his race side here. Working the field in right now. Emil Koopman's here in the number 911 right ahead of Jordan Strudwick in the number 100. Strudwick right now trying to build a little bit of power up, trying to build a little draft out of the gate. Eel Killen in the 93 here, keeping Adam Schmidt behind him there just for the brief moment anyway. Neil Killen obviously going to be trying to drive the field in a little bit, trying to roll the gaps off as much as he can. Certainly a lot of time and pacing will go into that situation, into that circumstance here as Strudwick with a problem down there. A little bit of that's a bigger problem than I think he really realizes there. He lost a lot of time just by making that little mistake. We'll take a look at the replay here and see what happened. Yeah, just drove it in way too hard there and ended up almost clipping a few of them out. Yeah, I believe a lot of them were telling each other, hang on, hang on, hang on. As the driver literally losing control here, don't end up in that wreckage because they know what happens next. So smart thinking on them for pacing their way around and watching where the corner was at and where the drive off was from. Philip Hammer right now still trying to get there to Lazarus as Lazarus now starts to build the pace up a little bit. Daniel Thomas not far behind either. 13 drivers coming to the show. And this is what we're going to end up with, really. It's just the overall madness of pacing and control. See which driver can come out on top of it. Dorset Cypher, Spencer Marsh right now. They are all on the gas pedal and on that loud drive here, trying to hold each other down. You're on board with Spencer just a minute as Thorsten tries to keep up with him. Emil Koopman's here, and Jordan Strudwick kicking a little bit of a comeback there from the top of the back up into the nose. Koopman's obviously has had a pretty good little showcase for himself so far this season here, but pretty much been kind of guarded to the mid-pack to the top 5 at the best. Despite the fact really he's got a lot of speed, he's got a lot of control, and again with a 3,000 I rating to his name, he certainly knows how to race it with the toughest of hitters out here, but those 5,000 guys that include Lazarus, Hammer, and Thomas, they are currently your top 3 for a reason. Not giving any impulses or any mind or mesh to whatever's going on behind them, just focusing on dead set what is going down for their drive off, their run here. Philip, early out of the gate there, ended up getting a little love tap from old Lazarus, ended up sending him into the grassy plains, and then from there it was pretty much just where can he go from that point on. As Blackout Racing looks to try to bring home another one to their name. The New Zealand faction here from representing the Australian flag as well, trying to showcase the talent, the speed, and the control that it takes to mix and match it up and fight their way around. Adam Schmidt, the number 12 right now, looking to pound the gas pedal up on that number 93 here of Neil Killen. Neil looking on as the Muriel number 93 just stays out ahead from the Dragon's Keep of the 12 Adam Schmidt. I like that look of that Dragon's style on that one too. I've got a tattoo of a dragon on my right arm, but I love seeing some Dragon schemes out there. Maybe that silver one, that's just a really nice looking scheme there. Gotta give him credit where credit's due to the artist. Nicely done. Speaking of nicely done down there, a little bit of some back and forth action between Bjorn Ritter / Rich Show, Mark D. Bruin, and it looks like Salvatore Garianto. Those guys having quite a little bit of a day there between each each other here, and you can see Garienzo right now trying not to end up on the back of the pack. As he says, Mark de Bruin back there instead. Launched it right through beautifully, and now tries to corner down the turns to try to roll off the spots here. Salvaging up some speed a little bit. Strudwick right dead on the right side there of Koopmans. Koopmans trying to hold him back. Koopmans looking to drive it in a little bit closer to the gap, closer to the edge, pushing each other around. That's where these little corner offs come from. It's all about timing and pacing yourself around the track. Not let yourself get too arrogant, but not get too over the head and over the moon. Smooth as can be through the transition times. Strudwick still dealing with Koopmans there, pounding away. Announcing his credibility here. Strudwick still trying to keep his pace up. 2 spots up right now from his original qualifying position. But problem is he had also lost a little bit of that time just by simply overdriving the track out a bit. As Spencer Marsh and Thorsten Seisser still go at it a little bit. Thorsten already with a race win to his name. Philip Hammer with 1, Lazarus with 1, and everybody else either looking for 1 or they're pushing everything they got to get to 1. Yeah, Lazarus last week, by the way, Watkins Glen. What can you say about that track, man? Watkins Glen just gave these drivers a whole new meaning to do not try to play with an American track and think you can get away with it. You can race hard on these UK and European and British tracks as well as, of course, tracks from all across the world, but it just seems like you dare test a track that's more known for its NASCAR racing, and you got yourself a little bit of a dilemma you're facing up against. Obviously, I think a lot of drivers learned their lesson, though, and now with so many of them, not only so many of them coming today here to Donington Park, they are here to put on as much of a show as they possibly can, while at the same time proving that they are the best of what they do and the best of what they can perform at. Salvatore Garienzo as well as Bjorn Ritter's show right now on the nose, a little bit on the gas pedal. Kenny Eckert way off in the grassy plains. Got himself a little bit too close to under comfort there, and that ended up costing him big time. Salvatore, Bjorn, all in it to hit it. As they march it right through off the barriers there. I don't know if that's going to be a time sector penalty for him hitting that a little cone down there, or that just gives him a context point. Either way, I don't think you really want to hit that spot there. Does seem to affect him. Everyone seems to be still on that nose, on that charge, so it looks like it's okay for now. Down to the final 6 minutes left on the clock, really. Sharp left-hander there off that exit now through the DRS station, looking to roll their way through. I'm not going to lie to anyone. I have no idea what DRS means or what it does or any of that stuff, so please do not ask me in the comment section. But if you can explain it to me, I'll be really appreciative of it. Oh, but the thing I can definitely tell you, though, is that is certainly something that will get you in trouble. And that's going on in the grass and getting your rear end to slip out underneath you. Salvatore Garienzo finds that out the extreme hard way. And he goes into the Never Realm. He has been banished to the Shadow Realm, wherever you want to take him to. He got trapped there because he trapped himself in the grass, and off to the pits he goes. He's got to have a lot of work to do if he wants to get anybody left in this position. That cost him big time. That cost him a lot of running, a lot of timing there. Philip Hammer, Daniel Thomas right now trying to mix it up a little bit, looking to roll through. Corey Lazarus here only a second and 3/10 away ahead of Philip Hammer. Is Hammer about to drop that big old rusty hammer on the 85 for payback, I wonder? I would certainly want to think that he probably wants a little revenge for it. Probably not too thrilled about getting nudged into the corner there and then having to come back from that. Back on board here with Daniel Thomas right now. And looking at the field here, we only got 3 of the Muriel.io racing teams. And Daniel Thomas representing for one of them, George Strudwick, as well as Salvatore Gariento. Thomas the only one, at least, out of the bunch. Seems to have any kind of speed, any kind of recollection of what he can do with it. Hammer starting to close the gap off on Lazarus. He's got it down from a second and 3/10 to about a second. Oh, I guarantee you one thing's for sure, though. Hammer is not a happy camper still. He's got to be just driving the wheels off the lug nuts just to catch that 85 there. It's going to be very, very difficult, though, when you think about it, because, again, you have to still try to find a way to pass, and you got to find a way to make the move, make the charge. Oh, look at that. That was a huge sweeping right-hander there, right into that corner off. Looks like a Martinsville right-hander, if you ask me, or a left-hander, if you will. And then you said one turn, not enough. Well, how about 2 of them? That'll slow you down quite a bit more, and then drive you right off into the track. Nice little done there by Lazarus, but man, nobody was even thinking about how close that could have gone to. Time running out here. We're running up on the final short ends of the laps here. Could we possibly be looking at a white flag lap coming out next time on by? Lazarus knows where he's at. He knows what he's got to do here. Pounding away right now. Hammer is just doing everything he can to get to Lazarus. Lazarus probably right now, just holding on for all he can till that happens. Hammer way too aggressive entering in the turn, and a huge mistake from a driver of his caliber. Not something you usually see, nor would you ever realize it. That is a big mistake there. Hammer can't believe he made that move, and now he's got to try to get the dirt off those tires and try to roll the car back out on the track. Lazarus looking now to have an easy win after being pretty much just handed that one. That was a huge mistake there, to say the least. Rolling it down now. Here we go. Looking for our white flag lap to come on up. There she is. White flag coming out. Lazarus leads him down. Camera crew's having a little bit of an issue there, unfortunately. Final drive down the lines, down the chicanes here through the corners. Daniel Thomas still hoping and praying maybe for one more mistake here from Lazarus, but I just don't see it happening at this point. Not in this kind of level, in this kind of playing field. Now the way he drives. Now through those two sharp turns, corners off. Pretty much U-turn corners. Rolls the first. Now to roll the second one. And down off the hatchet one more time by Checkers coming out. Corey Lazarus wins the sprint race. Might add pretty handedly there. The rest of your finishers coming up right now. And some shockers literally in the whole field. As many of them weren't expecting, let alone be where they were at in that finish. I think all eyes will definitely be on that number 60 Philip Hammer, as well as some of the other drivers looking to try to knock him down off that totem pole. But that is certainly going to be a bit of a handful there to really have to accept, and a bit of a bite and a bit of a check in the gut there, if you will, for everything he did there just to try to hold on. Certainly doesn't help his cause any. Take a look at our race results here in just a short minute. And there we go. We got our results up for the sprint race here. Here is your final results coming up on your screen, presented in part by our friends at MotorRacingChecklist.com. Corey Lazarus brings home another solid little run there, and nicely done, I will say. Daniel Thomas going to go second in that one. Spencer Marsh third, and Jordan Strudwick going to go fourth. Thorsten Seifert's fifth. Emil Koopman's going to go sixth. Adam Schmidt seventh. Eighth to Philip Hammer. Neil Killen in the 9, and Bjorn Ritter going to take home top 10. So that will pretty much do it for your heat there. So our little sprint race now out of the way. We're going to move into our little warm-up session here. Give the drivers just a few seconds to warm the cars up, get themselves warmed up as well. Obviously, I'm probably still a little bit rallied up and really set in tone for what they just did there a bit ago. Well, a couple more seconds left now. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting ready to showcase to you what kind of madness and what kind of excitement you can experience with these Porsche Cup drivers. Porsche Cup Challenge here, Europe, from across the world, across the nations, now set to go. And here is your grading order. On the pole, in the number 60, it will be Philip Hammer on the outside. In the 12 is Adam Schmidt. Row number 2 in the 911 is Emil Koopmans there. The outside in the 76 will be Thorsten Seifert. Row number 3 is the 100 of Jordan Strudwick. The outside in the 34 is Spencer Marsh. Row 4 is Daniel Thomas. In the 160, the outside, the 85 is Corey Lazarus. Row number 5 is going to be Neil Killen in the number 93. The outside, the 941 is Bjorn Richo. Row 6 in the 496. Kenny Ecker the outside. The 52 is Mark DeBruin. Our final starter today. In the 210, Salvatore Guerriento. Your field of drivers now set for the action, set for the road ahead. All that awaits is now the drive to survive. Lining up to the green, you can see the lights flickering on. Into the green we wave, let's get down to it. Hammer this time, wasting no time. He knew his mistake last time, though. He made it all worth it and made up for it just by that little jump start alone. Gotta wait patiently for that light to flicker on green, and then from there it's all about who can hang on and who can put the pressure down. Roller back on the gas right now. Everybody looking on here as Strudwick continues to deal with Daniel Thomas. Meanwhile, up front here to the back, Thorsten Seifert and Corey Lazarus immediately going out of here. And it looks like Seifert getting the least of the runs here. Daniel Thomas, though, a little troubles down there, and he gets a little bit wide, more than he was hoping for. And to find himself in a bit of trouble there as they roll him right back off to the corner and down to the straights. Oh, that's not good. Oh, boy. That certainly was a little bit of a hiccup there. And look at this, little trouble there. Seifert gets a little spin around and a little bit of deja vu to what happened to Hammer earlier. Man, these guys do not seem to mind too much. The aggression level certainly starting to pick up a bit. Let's see what happened, though. We saw the aggression there on the other end, but I'm not sure about Thurston here. Look, he lined up the corner, and oh, he actually overdrove it. I think he might have misshifted there and ended up finding himself on the wrong side of the track. So a very tough break there from him. Hammer's already got a second and 6/10 of a second lead already. Koopmans and Schmidt right now trying to hold on to the line, trying to hold it down. Emil right now looking to kind of roll off the gas here. Schmidt trying to deal what he can as well. Everybody moving in the chains. Bjorn Ritter and Neil Killen laying down the speed, laying down the power. Remember, they got to get to 30 minutes on the clock there, and I gotta admit up front right now with the Bjorn, he's got literally what I would presume is probably what I would probably look like if I had my if I actually had my Crusader nickname live up to its reputation. I'll give Bjorn credit. He's definitely a knight, but I don't know if he is quite the Crusader's level of knighthood. That's all right. I will accept it and allow him to wear that. But man, that is certainly a look. All right, I love that look. Speaking of that, I think Daniel Thomas didn't quite agree with Bjorn either doing that either. So now he says, "You want to be a knight? You better fight like one." And he's currently withstanding the pressure. He is keeping chivalry at bay. He's keeping the livelihood down a few notches, using the sword as his weapon and using the car as his beacon. But Bjorn knows he can't quite deal with all the pressure there, and Thomas, well aware of that, made the drive, made the run off there from him, got him close off the corner. Salvatore Guerriento also kind of making his way back from the slides and back onto the pack side here. Koopmans right now trying to find some way to recoup any speed he can from Hammer, Schmidt, Lazarus, and Marsh, your top 5 drivers so far. Salvatore, Mark DeBruyne right now, currently looking on. DeBruyne earlier on, by the way, got passed up by Salvatore, and then went from there. He pretty much kind of had to fight his way around the track and had to find his way back in lane and back into his own spot here. Trying not to let that be the case here, and obviously wanting to focus in highly on his overall speed and endurance. Neal right now seals more pressure as Daniel Thomas moves to the right side, and he throws it all. But again, Neal and Daniel, teammates, so they don't want to go too crazy here, but I gotta feel it. They probably don't mind passing each other once in a while. And then you got this guy, the Impulse Racing, number 60 of Philip Hammer. And it's safe to say right now, the way he's marching on through the corners and marching down through the tracks, he's pretty much got a good little look here on this track. So Hammer right now currently keeping his momentum up a little bit here. Emil Koopmans and Corey Lazarus now pretty much separated off by a bit of a gap there. And again, tires wise right now, not a worry here. Fuel mileage, not a worry. It's all about just who can outrun the other and who gets the most speed out of their equipment. Lazarus certainly well aware of that. Koopmans as well. Lazarus looking carefully, looking on. May have a little something here as Emil currently knows. He's slowing up a bit. He's giving him plenty of room to attack while he's got some speed to his name. Oh, that's not going to help it either. Oh, and Lazarus just smacked him right on the left side of his front bumper there. Hammer obviously not minding that too much because that isn't him that takes it from Lazarus. Corey just drove it in as good as he can and looked like, from my end there, looked like Koopmans just couldn't quite keep it at bay. And I opened the door for even Adam Schmidt to come in. The American try to build a little bit of speed, build a little bit of power up. He's having no qualms about it either. The big silver dragon, if you will. Not silver-eyed blue white dragon, no, I am talking a silver dragon. Patrolling the track and patrolling all that it can be done here in Donington. Not more of Spencer March here right now. He currently tries to keep his playing field up to par, keep his drive in there a little bit too. Fell back for a minute, now it's just trying to hang on. Koopmans powering down a bit here. Schmidt, excuse me. Lazarus. All trying to find a little bit of a run to get up there to Hammer, but Hammer's already muscling each part of the corners and starting to muscle the track around a bit. At this point, it looks like it may be starting to be a little bit harder for him to kind of master out the track. And especially when he just set the fastest time of the day. The fastest time has just been set. 1:28.56. Nobody has been able to get to that mark except for only one driver. That, ironically enough, is Lazarus. instead of 128.62, but it has not been able to kind of keep speed up from there. He's hoping that Hammer will make another mistake, give him some openings, but when you got literally nothing to worry about, no room for error, then, and more room for error, I should say, not no room, but I would say at that point, you really don't start to worry too much. Koopmans right now chilling right ahead here. Mars behind Schmidt by about a full half a second here. Everyone at the moment just trying to keep the ground up. Bjorn Ritter still dealing with Salvatore Gariento there. Rolling it off, Salvatore looking on, just trying to see what he can do. Salvatore, again, not been a bad driver by any means. It's just, I think it's been where they put him at in the lineup, where they got him thrown at in the drive. And ever since then, basically it's been whatever he can do with it, he just tries to work it through. And I think honestly that's one of the tougher parts about this kind of race, this kind of pass, is you have to know where and when to make a move, make the drive off, and then from there just pretty much put every little bit of speed, every little extra bit of give you can inside of that car. It is not easy though, far from it. It's actually one of the toughest things to do, not only as a driver but as a human being, to just live and let go and figure out when you can get the speed up to power and get to drive off from there. We are nearly halfway done with this race. Philip Hammer 5 seconds ahead right now. Lazarus, Schmidt, Koopmans, and Marsh all trying to march to the arm of their own beat. Looking for any bit left they can, trying to hope for any little more help they can get too. Salvatore getting around Bjorn here, and Bjorn now looking to try to make a move back on him. Ritter, I know right now, probably well acquainted for and accounted for what he had to deal when he made the pass on the 210 originally, but now realizes maybe a little easier said than done to get a run on him there, and now I'll pass him off on the rest to go here. I think it's got to be one of the toughest things to face out with, is just knowing that the driver ahead of you or right behind you is just kicking up more speed and building up more power. And there's nothing really you can either do about it or you really can even try to perfect with, because the car just simply won't allow it. Now with this late into the sim and in this run. Speaking of this run here, Thorsten Seifert still multiple problems down there, and now he's currently fighting way back into the pack. He just throws weight around at Bjorn there. Looked like he had another issue down on the turn and ended up losing out more ground in time. He started 4 spots back. 4 spots ahead of where he was at now. He's 4 spots back, I should say. In 8th. Neil Koopman, Spencer Marsh right now, all on the playing field, all on the nose. Also something I want to reiterate as well, coming up later today. Pedal to Metal Racing League gives you the Butt Kicker 100. One last race, one big grand finale. The Phoenix Raceway will see two drivers going at it for the championship. Will it be two? We'll have a new champion one way or another this season, and one that's never been to the championship win before. Will it be Robert Warrens or will it be Jeff the Old Oak Oaks? We'll find out live on Pizza Race TV a little later today. Meanwhile, though, right now you are getting a glimpse at your Porsche Cup Challenge drivers in the Porsche Cup Challenge League. These Porsches, man, they are bad fast, they are tough as nails, and they are close as they come to just driving the wheels off them. I say tough as nails because really they're harder to drive than they look. You still have to really kind of get used to being lower center of gravity, but the way the wings are, the way the zero suspension is, the way the car kind of rips its way out across the track, it's a temptatious little position, man. It really makes you work a little bit harder and a little bit smarter every time you start rolling it through the track. Koopman's now with Marsh right on his back bumper here, trying to make a move off, trying to make a drive off here as we're halfway done with this race. 15 minutes left on the clock. Time running out here, and these guys know it too, and that's why you're starting to see the aggression level starting to pick up just a little bit more. You may have noticed too the way this time differentials have been as well. They've been kind of pretty much on the board, not the cuts here. But about 7-second gap difference here between those two. Now Schmidt has had some pretty good Sector 1 times here, but his Sector 2 and 3 have been pretty abysmal compared to Koopman's and Marsh's here. And those guys have been catching up to him for a reason. So one thing I'm learning about road courses too is that no matter how many times you get used to a car, the thing is you always need to figure out a way to fight the track. The track on a road course is where all your problems lay at and all your drive lays down too. Doesn't matter how many times you run a certain car or a certain kind of speed or a certain kind of area, it's all about how you can maneuver and handle the way the car rolls to the corners, rolls to the turns, battles off the exits and around. It seems very trivial. Whoa, but it's really not. And Adam Schmidt, oh boy. That was a mistake. Got it back on the gas pedal. The rear end said, nope, not today, my friend. And Koopman's taking full advantage of that, moving into the third spot now. Marsh not too happy about that, though. Knew he had to really make a move on Koopman's before it was too little too late. Didn't quite work in his favor. Neil Killen and Bjorn right now looking on from the gaps, looking on from the noses. Each driver right now trying to put the hammer on and trying to see what they can do. You see the way, but Neil is currently still in the corners and still driving off from the edges here. He's trying to cut every little bit of turn he can off and trying to build up any little extra give he can get. Torsten Seifert here also trying to hang in there. Salvatore Garriento only about 1 and 3/10 of a second away from him. Salvatore has not exactly been one to not make mistakes either this season. He has made a few of them and a good chunk of them. It resulted in troublesome time zones for him and a little bit more problems as he kind of put up the gaps on himself and find himself in that area. 10 minutes left on the clock. Ten minutes left on that clock is not a whole lot of time to be just letting up and giving out here. They need to be very end on the edge and still focus on the cement. Focus on that drive, focus on that line. Don't let anything else come to mind. That's the toughest part about this ordeal here, is this racing style. Philip Hammer right now just 7 seconds ahead of Lazarus, and pretty much in his comfort zone at this point. It's kind of safe to say. It's rich, smooth as silk, and powered off from the drive, but you can see his times though have decreased. And looking at that as well, despite the fact they decreased, so did another adversary of his. He's got about a 5-10 gap difference there on Lazarus that time by. No, Lazarus, you probably just heard that and said, wait, what? I was like, how did he even get that far ahead of me? I had him pretty much beat well in that first one. Not a lot you could do. Kenny Eckler right now, some problems down there in the 496, and looks like he's going to enter into pit road, call it a day here. Emil, Spencer, and Adam representing in the top 5. Lazarus and him are up in that top 2 positions. And time starting to slowly but surely fade away here. Neal now passed up there by Bjorn. And Thorsten still hangs on, but now he's got a little bit of a battle ahead of him. Nice trying to figure out a way to get around this guy, Salvatore. Salvatore extremely aggressive there on the nose there. You see him breaking it hard, and then he let the rear end only slip out so much before he just started to rip it back around. Works well, but the brakes unfortunately don't quite agree there. Should only have to hang on for about 6 or 7 more laps though. Time starting to be more of an essence and more of a plug here. Oh boy, that's a big move off there. Salvatore let a lot of room out there, and Thorsten, just like the presence of mind he has, he just stuck his way around the right side, took control of it. You just can't leave openings like that for guys like that, man. You just can't do in these road courses. They will not hesitate here. Bjorn and Neal right now looking on. They're still holding their ground up here. Neal desperately trying to just stick with anything he can to get up there to Bjorn and take control of that run again. But so much tire wear and burn off. I think it may have actually affected these guys more than we realize here. And you got guys like Philip Hammer just pretty much walking away handedly. Remember the first heat there, he ended up having one little trouble, and that was all of a sudden turning into a massive mistake there. Well, now he's pretty much kind of fixed that up and changed every little bit of it beyond belief. Koopmans, Marsh, and Schmidt now. The gap's starting to decrease a bit there, and Schmidt, after making that horrible little spin around mistake there, seems to be pretty well aware of what he's got to do, and that's not what we meant. Oh my! Left front wheel completely bashed in onto the tire barriers down there. Schmidt will refire, but man, he lost a lot of time there. Overdrove the corner, and then next thing you know, he ends up reciting the wall. Just way too aggressive there entering in that turn. Too aggressive and too a little bit all out, if you will. As a friend of mine once said, they raised hell and they praised Dale. Well, unfortunately, I don't think that's exactly what the Europeans would want to do in this case. Lazarus Koopmans here holding in for the top 3 spots here as Hammer still just pretty much handily and decisively rocking away from this one. He's racked up a good few amount of wins here. He's racked up some good speeds and some good positions, but I think this one really will set him apart for a little while in terms of where he's going at with the speed and the drivers he faces up against. Their way back on around across the tracks here. Thorsten still hanging in there. Battle for 7th here. Seifert just trying to keep Salvatore at bay and keep him in check. Emil and Lazarus here separating themselves by about a second and a half. It's about the same speeds too that Lazarus had in the heat win. Keep in mind too, he travels 6 spots up. He's the hard charger for this one. Hammer started in first, and had it been Lazarus and him going at it again, I don't know. I mean, it could be an interesting little dilemma. I think it probably would have been a very unique little battle between those two, but I guess it didn't quite not go that way. We're coming up close to the end of this one here. Hammer right now currently working his way through traffic, working his way through the field. Got about 2 minutes left as we're bracking it down here. And that will be setting us up for the one to go next time on by. Hammer keeping his distance and keeping himself well in check. But he knows Emil is right on his tail if he makes one little error. Crazy to me how far left they're driving to, just in the corner or down. I know obviously I have not been the best at ciphering how these drivers can run a track here. Now Schmidt yet again more problems. Same corner. Final corner exit to the finish line. Can't seem to just catch a break out there, let alone get out of his own way. Philip patrolling down across the track lane here. Corey Lazarus right on his toes and on his nose, but it's still a 7-second gap there between Hammer and him. And Philip obviously not going to have any remorse or care for him at this point. Why would he? Really got taken out of his mind and then thrown for a bit of a loop. Now having to try to deal with the pressure he's dealing with here. Start Cypher and Schmidt having a little bit of a drive off between the two here for the 6th spot. But now as we roll him back down, one more lap to go this time on by. Philip Hammer looking to secure this one down with the white driving up. Hammer needs just to simply finish this race out. Lazarus and Koopmans right now close on the goes, close on the guard. But that's now a 2-second gauge there here. Hammer just rolling through each corner like it's literally his home track, it's his homeland. The German driver right now proving he can send everybody straight back to the Shadow Realm and put everything in contention. He has a wonderful race on his tail, on his nose, and he showed it today. 2 more sweeping corners to go down the elongated straightaway. And then swiping it back in from the right to swipe it up to the top and go hard left. This one is all about wrapped up, ladies and gentlemen. The number 60, Philip Hammer, this time will bring Impulse Racing back to victory lane. Checkers out. Philip Hammer takes it home. Hammer is your winner. Lazarus taking home second. Koopman is going to go third. Fourth to Marsh. Fifth will go to Thomas. What a performance. What a drive off here. And what a whole lot of speed these guys had to bring to the table. They left nothing out on the track and everything out on the surface here. Neil Killen going to bring it home to 9th here. Thorsten Seifert, Adam Schmidt, 6th and 7th there. Salvatore Garriento going to go 8th. Neil Killen going 9th. Top 10 there for Bjorn Ritter to finish this one up a bit. Mark De Bruin, the last of the drivers to get out on the finish line. Here is your race results now, ladies and gentlemen. A easy win for Philip Hammer this time. Takes full control from the start and takes the rest in play. Corey Lazarus going to go second though. Emil Koopman's going third. Spencer Marsh fourth. Fifth to Daniel Thomas. Sixth to Adam Schmidt. Seventh to Thorsten Seifert. Salvatore Garriento in eighth. Ninth to Neil Killen. 10th to Mark De Bruin. Rounds out the top 10 in this one. Man, oh man, what a day, race fans, what a time here. Thank you again to our friends at Suellio, Almeida, motorracing.com. Big thank you to them. Be sure to follow them up on their website, link in the description below. All of us here at Pete's Race TV want to thank Porsche Cup Challenge for having us out today. This will be our last call for a little while, as I've mentioned last night. Unfortunately, we are not able to get our internet up and running, nor are we able to get our studio there where we're on vacation, so I unfortunately will be out for a couple weeks, but when I return, don't worry, August 13th, we'll be back with the Porsche Cup Challenge, so do not fear, we'll be back with them. I hope to see you all soon enough, but till then, be safe out there, everyone, and take care of yourselves.